You type a difficult question into a prompt, hit enter, and within milliseconds, a massive block of text appears on your screen. The flawless grammar and authoritative tone naturally make us trust it. The response feels completely safe, appearing as though it has been rigorously researched and vetted. But underneath that polished surface is an opaque void. We have zero visibility into the actual process. The journey from your prompt to that final conclusion is completely hidden. Relying on that instantaneous, invisible processing forces you into a vulnerable position. You end up accepting its certainty on blind faith, entirely unable to verify the work. By default, these models produce a single-pass answer. The machine picks a logical direction immediately and rushes straight to the conclusion without stopping to self-correct. When that initial instinct is accurate, the resulting answer is seamless and incredibly useful. But when that first direction is wrong, the machine does not pause to catch its error midstream. It just bulldozes forward, arriving at a confidently stated, entirely incorrect conclusion. Because the generated prose is so smooth, it acts as camouflage. Subtle logical failures become nearly impossible to spot on a casual first read. Combining that processing speed with unverified confidence creates a dangerous environment for anyone relying on AI for high-stakes decisions. We can interrupt this pattern by forcing the machine to pause. You simply instruct it to think step by step before it is allowed to deliver an answer. This is known as chain of thought prompting. It requires the model to physically surface its intermediate steps and check them against one another. Look at how this alters the architecture of the output. That dense, impenetrable block of instant text fractures into a trackable, linear progression of ideas. Unlike a single-pass model rushing to the end, it cannot silently skip a crucial dependency if it has to write that step down first. This intervention changes your relationship with the machine. You go from being a passive recipient of an answer to an active observer of a reasoning process. You see the value of this most clearly with multi-constraint problems, like scheduling several meetings around strict boundaries and competing calendars. Ask an AI to solve this in a single pass, and it will often confidently double-book a time slot, presenting the broken schedule as totally flawless. This shows a chain of thought response. Identifying constraints isolates the rules for the team meeting, manager one-on-one, and planning session. In the Working Through section, it systematically tackles the tightest constraints, placing the planning session on Monday before navigating remaining conflicts. By forcing the machine to explicitly document its limitations, the invisible path to an answer transforms into a physical, verifiable map. But producing a visible chain of reasoning is not the same thing as producing correct reasoning. Machines can fall into a pattern of rationalization. They lock on to a flawed conclusion and then invent a logical-sounding chain of steps entirely to justify that mistake. An elaborate, detailed derivation can easily mislead the human eye. The sheer volume of text makes a wrong answer feel even more authoritative because it looks like rigorous work. A chain of thought is ultimately a presentation of data, not a mathematical proof. Treating the appearance of diligence as a guarantee of accuracy is a dangerous illusion. This requires a specific mindset when reading AI output. You must treat every single step in a reasoning chain as a separate claim that could be entirely false.
The optimal verification strategy is to skim the conclusion first, then read backward to pinpoint the exact logical step where the machine's reasoning broke down. You don't need this structured pacing for simple facts or creative drafting, but for any high-stakes analysis, it is an absolute requirement.